But they will not give up. And finally, I said, take time, find it, see people around. I'm sure you'll find lots of options for you. And we agreed on 24 hours, next 24 hours that they will try, but if they can't find, they will come back to me. They called me back again 24 hours later. No, we didn't find any options, so you are the one. So that's how I got involved with it. That's why I'm here. So that I thought, I thought I'll give you the background, why I'm here, why I did.
So you came into government, and normally when you have a new government, there's an elaborated governmental plan, but what you are doing is mainly based on 3 visions, because you want to achieve a situation where you can have elections, and the 3 visions are zero poverty, zero unemployment, and zero net carbon emissions. How can you, I mean, there are now big expectations. What are the key success factors to make sure that the people do not turn away because they feel disappointed? How do you keep this motivation alive to form in Bangladesh a new inclusive democratic system?
Let me clarify a little bit. What you said about the 3 zeros, that's me as a person. And that's what I devoted my life, trying to encourage people to think in those terms and see the logic behind it and see action. It kind of encourages you into action to make it happen, a world of 3 zeros. Because I was always insisting the civilization that we have right now around us, that we created, we feel very proud of it, fantastic thing that human being has done, created a civilization which transformed the world. And my way of responding to that, I said, this is a wrong civilization. It's a self-destructive civilization. This civilization will destroy us. We have no escape route from this one. So that's where I belong. That's what I try to bring in. That's where the 3 zero fits in. But when I am invited to run a government, I'm not peddling these 3 zeros into the government. I was trying to see immediately, next hour, what we have to do. Because suddenly a new government emerges after so much killings. The law and order situation became very critical. So how to restore law and order? This is the first thing to do. It's the immediate thing to do. And next thing you do, build up the economy again. Let the economic machine run, because this whole thing stopped. And when you try to start the machine, the economic machine, you say that machine is completely destroyed. Because this is economy which is plundered away. Immediately after that, I tried to appoint a committee to prepare a white paper. So there was stock taking, what we got, what we left, to understand what we inherited from the previous government. And amazing results came later on when the final report came out. The amount of money laundered away from the country. From the banking system, the total amount they've estimated, calculated, it's about $17 billion from the banking system, just laundered away. Very simple thing, very easy way. I think this should be recorded someplace, studied how governments can do that kind of plundering, highway robbery, sitting in the government, running the machine, and still claiming to be a civilized society.
By giving them loans.
The simple way they did it, actually, under the gunpoint,
expected to be paid
you
back.
let the board of the bank resign,
the money has been transformed.
And government or a person like
If
the
you
head of the
look at
government,
whole
Hasina,
economy,
she puts
the
her own
estimate
people
came
in the board
$16 billion
and
per year over 50
let
years.
her friends
Per
and
year, $16 billion
relatives
been
take away
shifted
as
away
much money as they want
over-invoicing,
by giving them loans.
under-invoicing,
On paper, it's a loan.
by illegal
Actually,
channels,
these loans
take
will
the
never
money away.
expected to be
So
paid
you
back.
have
So you are
an
literally
economy, I was
robbing the whole
trying to
bank.
describe,
And that's how the money has
it's
been
like you
transferred.
have, suddenly you have a tornado.
If you look at the whole economy, the estimate came $16 billion per year over 15 years. Per year, $16 billion been shifted away by over-invoicing, under-invoicing, and by illegal channels take the money away. So you have an economy, as I was trying to describe, it's like you have, suddenly you have a tornado, everything goes berserk.
USA is the main
and you
Europe
start
buys,
wondering how do you start all over again. So the economy that we inherited was a kind of after that tornado of the economy. How do you start that? So that became our immediate thing, how to put order in the economy. Our economy, first mainstay is our garment industry, the ready-made garment. USA is the main buyer, whole Europe buys, but our number one buyer is USA. So we want to make sure industry keep functioning. So how do you do that in a situation? So our aim is to make sure that our exports, our businesses started taking place and so on. So how to restore the banking system, how to restore foreign exchange, how to restore the reserves, all these issues immediately engulfed into that. And luckily for us, in all things happening, tremendous amount of support from the people because of the terrible things that they experienced before. Many people disappeared. Just not they shot the people, young people on the street. Throughout the 15 or 16 years of their rule, millions of people were put in jail. And I was one of them, waiting to be in jail. While I was in Paris, my friends and my family from Bangladesh saying, don't come back, the situation is bad. As soon as you come, you'll be in jail. So stay there. So that's the instruction I'm getting. While I'm coming here, I was appearing in courts. I have 190 cases against me. You can hardly move in it because some cases I have to appear in some courts. So this is the thing for me. And similar to me, millions of people were in jail. Unspecified allegations against them, particularly if you belong to any political party which is against the regime, you have no escape route. So that's a kind of environment. You have to free those people who are in jail, how to do that, because there are cases, judicial system has to work. So those became our first priority to make that happen. Our main support is support coming from all directions from within the country. And we saw enormous amount of support internationally. Everywhere we went, there's an outpour of support for the people of Bangladesh and the uprising of the students, how to rebuild. The students were saying, we will have to build a new Bangladesh. They don't have to see anything connected with the old Bangladesh. So that's a big task for us. How do you define that new Bangladesh? How do you start that new Bangladesh? And we are committed to create that new Bangladesh. So case by case, we have to restore discipline of the government and the restoration of the bureaucracy, which was serving the previous government. So suddenly they are asked to do something different, which they never had experience of following the rules and procedures. They get an order, they carry it out. That's all they do. An order comes from one single source. So this became our main issue right now, at that time.
And if I understand, the way you are doing it is you have created commissions. I think quite a number of those. And those commissions, I think it's important to highlight, are composed as much as possible in a multi-stakeholder way, so that the whole population is integrated in designing the new Bangladesh. Could you tell us a little bit more about those commissions and how it functions?
The demands from the movement came that we don't want to go back to the old Bangladesh, so we have to build a new Bangladesh. So how do you do that? Where do you begin? Everything collapsed. So one first decision we took on every single item will create a commission, reform commission. So you have a reform commission for constitution. They say we don't need that old constitution. We build a new constitution. So how do you start? Where do you start to build a new constitution? So we had the reform of the constitution. Then we have the election procedure. You have election without vote. We don't want to go back to that kind of tradition of election having no votes, nobody to vote. With the 16 years of time that the old regime was running the country, we had 3 elections, no vote. And then young people are coming at the voting age. For the first time they become voters. Every year they're becoming voters.
Everybody can vote freely.
All these young people who became voters over these 16 years didn't have a chance to vote for the first time in their life. Older generation probably in some past years they have voted, but this is very unfortunate for this young generation, which is a very different young generation. Young generation, very integrated, very connected with the whole world, had no experience of that. So we want to undo that, how to create a mechanism so that everybody can vote freely, fairly, so that no interruptions, no threat to anybody to cast their vote freely. So that was a commission. Judiciary. Judiciary became a weapon in the hands of the government. They punish you, they hang you, not only punish you, they hang you. And many people were hanged during that period in the name of the justice. It's a fake justice. It was decided he should be hanged. He was hanged. Many people disappeared. Thousands of people disappeared. People don't know where they are. When the uprising came, we're looking forward to see where they went. Some we found in a little space, lived for 7 years, 8 years, 10 years. No, they don't know whether it's a day or night, it's a dark room. They're fed, they just touch the food, that's about they know. So wondering, what is the world now look like now? So now we have a commission, the disappearance commission, to find out. We have cases of 3,000 such disappeared people. We have so far traced about 1,700 where they are. Many still could not be traced. What happened to them? So there are 15 such judiciary and administrations and so on. So 15 commissions to recommend us how to start. The commission reports are coming now that time has come. What we intend to do all these commission reports to be put together and start talking to the public and also the political parties. Which are the things that you accept to be implemented? Because this is a recommendation. Unless you accept, it cannot be implemented. So we now have a consensus commission to build a consensus around each piece of our work. Then on the basis of agreement of all parties, all civil society organizations, where they all agree on certain things, we'll prepare what we call July Charter. July is the month when uprising took place. It's a July Charter that we agreed on this. So on that basis of July Charter, we start taking action, including the election. What kind of election? Because unless we know what kind of election people want, we can't go into election. So we are waiting to hold the election. Now that the election report is coming out. We have targeted end of this year, the election to take place. If we go in a short reform agenda,
we should also
quick
keep in
reform
mind,
agenda.
The
If people say, no, we need a longer list of agenda reform, then we need another 6 months. So now people have to decide in the process whether they will go to the short agenda or the long agenda. Long agenda will need middle of 2026 next year. Short agenda will have it at the end of this year, 2025. That's the election procedure. That's what we're looking for.
we should also keep in mind society size of your country. I mean, to seize the enormous task, I think 170 million?
171 million.
So you have this large
people.
population.
We're the eighth largest country in the world, population-wise. So it's quite a sizable number. Most distinguishing feature is it is a country most densely populated country in the world. You cannot go anywhere without touching anybody else. As simple as that.
And so you have this large population, so you have to eradicate poverty, provide the educational systems and so on. And at the same time, I think you are one of the countries most exposed to environmental changes and degradation. With flooding and long term, I mean, we have the year of the glacier this year, and nobody expects glaciers in Bangladesh, but you depend to a certain extent on the glaciers in the Himalaya. We unfortunately come to the end of this session, and I have to say we all have to be not only full of admiration but full of support, because that's what you need. But my last question would be, if you take all those conclusions from your experience, from your life experience, what would be your advice to the world? I mean, what is, if you want to, what I said in my opening speech, if you want to base our future on a constructive optimism, what keeps you optimistic?
Optimism is about the new generation, young people. Every time I meet the young generation, I get mesmerized by seeing the possibility of these young people. I wonder whether I was at the age of 20 or 21, whether I'll be demonstrating on the street and take bullets and say goodbye to each other and do that. Whether I'll have that ability to do that or sustain that kind of thing, and when the collapsing of the government finally happened, whether I'll say, let's form a government. These are the young people who took that decisions, and there's no central planning. They don't know each other. They just came from different institutions on the street. You don't know who the next person is. Will they be able to use so that's the kind of power of this young generation. The way I try to express it by saying, it's a global statement I make. This is the most powerful generation in human history. That's the way I look at them. That's the way I feel. It gives me goosebumps looking at the power that the young generation has. The army was asked to fire them. Question is, these are our children. Will they be able to use this power? So if they're not able to use this power, will there be an explosion? They continue. It doesn't matter whether you fire. Shouldn't we learn something from Bangladesh? Irrelevant. When these young generations say, enough is enough, nobody can stop them. 10 come out. Army said sorry. The army was asked to fire them. Kill them all. Army says sorry. And then these are our children. We can't fire. So I go back to that. The young generation. So they tried every single way. But students didn't move. They continued. It doesn't matter whether you fire, you kill. It's totally irrelevant. One police officer was heard in the television saying, I killed one, 10 come up. They are not Bangladeshi young people. What do I do? Should I kill them all? And then others will come up. That's the situation. So I go back to that. The young generation of this age and time. They have the power comes to them not because they are super intelligent. They are the same kind of kids that we used to be. We keep on ignoring power comes from the technology. To other kids. That technology changed them. They are not Bangladeshi young people anymore. They are global young people. So that global young people, when they get connected on an issue, I don't think anybody can stop them. Who tells you that's their power? 16 doesn't understand as much as 18 does? So let you mature and see things in your own way. We keep on ignoring them just like we did to other kids. It's not that.
And I keep telling, don't
I was
look at your old
suggesting
generation.
our voting
We made
age is
many
18.
mistakes. If you
I said it
follow
should be
us,
16.
You'll get into the same
They're
trap.
so mature.
Don't follow us.
What makes it 18?
You have
Difference
enough
between 16 and 18.
understanding
Who
and
tells you
choices
that
to make
16
your
doesn't
own
understand as
decisions.
much as 18
Make your
does?
decisions.
So
Bangladesh
where
is
do you
just a
mature
spark
and see
coming
things
to
in
that.
your
So
own way?
Bangladesh should be
So this is a
studied.
challenge to
You
the
know
world.
what, which bothers me?
Are you allowing
All
your
these
young
things
people to
happening, we're
move up?
reading in the newspaper,
And I
we
keep
talk a
telling,
little
don't
bit,
look at your
stop
old
there.
generation.
We're not
We made
studying
many
what happened in
mistakes.
Bangladesh.
If you follow us,
Universities
you'll
should
get
be
into the
rushing
same
there.
trap.
What
Don't
happened
follow
to the
us.
most powerful government
You have
of
enough
16 years.
understanding and
Minutes
choices to make your own
these
decisions.
young people just
Make
got
your
together.
decisions. So Bangladesh
They
is
didn't
just a
have a
spark
political philosophy.
coming to that. So Bangladesh
You'll be
should be
asking,
studied.
are they
You know
leftist?
what? Which bothers me?
Are they
All these
Islamists?
things
Are
happening.
they
We're reading in the
terrorists?
newspaper. We
Doesn't
talk a
come
little
under
bit.
any category.
Stop there.
You don't have
We're
a
not
category.
studying what happened in Bangladesh.
You see everybody.
Universities should be rushing there.
All the citizens.
What
all
happened to
young
the most
people of Bangladesh
powerful
got together.
government of 16
Irrespective
years?
of their age.
Understand for a few
A 12-year-old
minutes
young
when these young people
person
just got together.
writing a letter.
They
His mother
didn't have a
was crying
political
and
philosophy.
reading to the public after all this
You'll be
happened.
asking, are they
I never
leftists?
get him back. She was
Are they
saying-
Islamists?
He wrote me
Are they
wrote me this
terrorists?
letter, Mom,
It doesn't come
you
into
always
any category.
protected
You don't
me
have a
so that
category
I
for them.
don't go and
You
join
see
the
everybody there.
protest march.
All
And
the
I was
citizens, all the
sitting
young
at
people of
home
Bangladesh
raging,
got together,
very angry
irrespective
that I
of their
cannot go.
age.
Today, I'm
A
going.
12-year-old
I'm
young
saying goodbye to you.
person writing a letter
don't know whether
which
I'll come
mother
back.
was crying and reading to the public after all this happened. I never get
If I
him
don't
back,
come back,
she was saying.
please
She wrote
forgive
me,
me.
she wrote me this letter, Mom, you always protected me so
My
that I
friends
don't
are there.
go and join the protest
They
march.
are brave.
And I
kids.
was sitting at home and raging,
I'm
and
a
very
brave
angry
person
that I
too.
cannot go. Today, I'm going. I'm saying goodbye to you. I don't know whether I'll come back.
Went out. His dead body came back in the.
If I don't come back, please forgive me.
That's what made this movement.
My friends are
It's
there.
not just a another demonstration or another.
They are
thing.
brave
It's a complete
friends.
qualitative change.
I'm
that
a
is
brave
taking
person
place
too.
Inside our society, everywhere. Simply somewhere is still lying low.
He went
Somewhere in
out,
Bangladesh, suddenly found an opening.
his dead body
Express
came back in the evening.
So that explosion will come. You can't stop. So we have to
That's what
understand
made
young
this
generation.
movement. It's not
Prepare.
just or a
And that's
demonstration
why
or
in the
another
past
thing.
I've been
It's a
saying that
complete qualitative
Our
change
education system is wrong.
that is
Treating
taking
these
place
young people as if they don't understand
inside our
anything.
society everywhere.
They're
Simply
smarter
somewhere
than
is
any other
still
generation because
lying
of the
low.
technology they have.
Somewhere in Bangladesh,
They know
suddenly
what you'll be
found an
teaching them
opening,
today.
express itself. So that
nothing
explosion
surprising
will
for them.
come. We can't stop it.
So, this
So we have
young
to understand
generation,
this young generation and prepare
They
that.
can
And that's
expand
where, in the
their
past,
views and
I've been
create
saying
their own
that
world.
our education
And I said
system is
education
wrong,
system is wrong
treating these
because
young
they're
people as if they
preparing
don't
them to take
understand
a job.
anything.
I said,
They're smarter than any other generation
Finished.
because of the technology they have.
Job to them
They know
is
what you'll be
nothing.
teaching them today.
I said, this generation is a
There's nothing
generation of
surprising for them.
entrepreneurs. They create their own world.
So
They
this
done-
young generation,
Even a housewife in Bangladesh,
they can
have
expand
much
their
education.
views and create
now
their own
run
world.
businesses out
And
of
I said
home.
education system is wrong because they're
She doesn't have much
preparing them to
education.
take a job.
But her food is so good.
I said job-oriented
So what
education
she
is
does,
finished.
take orders from people.
Job to them is
Chooses which
nothing.
one order she take. To
I said
prepare
this
food for
generation
her friends
is a
or
generation
friends
of
other
entrepreneurs.
families. And deliver it
They
and make
create
money.
their own world.
She
They
has 4
run.
children of her
Even
own.
a
That's
housewife
it.
in
It's just a
Bangladesh
family.
didn't have much
Go to
education.
remote village, somebody selling
Now
sarees
run
on the
businesses
Facebook.
out of her home. She doesn't have much education,
Nobody, she
but her
doesn't know
food
that
is so
this kind
good.
of business that somebody is doing.
So
She's
what
just
she
figured out
does,
she can sell
take
this
orders from
sarees.
people.
And
Chooses which one order
So
she take
these are
to
the
prepare
talent of this
food
young
for her friends or friends of
Job
other
doesn't
families
fit them.
and deliver it
But
and make
we're
money.
imposing it on them.
She has 4 children
So
of
these are
her
the
own.
mismatches that
That's
I
it.
keep
It's
bringing.
just a family.
Bangladesh gives a very
Go to remote village,
powerful
somebody is
case
selling
to
saris
show
on the Facebook.
how it can be done, what to be done. So that should be studied.
Nobody,
and
she didn't
seen.
know that this kind of
What
business
is
that somebody is
happening,
doing.
what is
She's just
waiting
figured
for
out
us.
she can sell this few
That's
saris
the most important thing.
and,
for all
and,
of us
and
to
then
learn from
expand.
experience
So
that we have got.
these are the talent of these young people.
Sir, Paul,
Job doesn't fit them, but we are imposing it on them. So these are the mismatch that I keep bringing, and Bangladesh gives a very powerful case to show. how it can be done, what to be done. So that should be studied and seen.
I don't have
what
to
is happening, what is
make a
waiting for
conclusion.
us. That's the most important thing for all of us to learn from experience that we have gone through.
With a visionary man.
Sir, process.
Thank you.
I don't have to make a conclusion. I think it was an exceptional half an hour with a visionary man and an exceptional man and an exceptional vision and mission. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.